All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm happy to welcome back to the show friend of the pod, Tom LoBianco. He is the man behind 24 Site News. Check them out at Substack and everywhere. Tom, great to see you, man.
Hey, Matt. How's it going, man?
Good. Lots to talk about. I guess Congress has been sent home. It's too bad it was, well, I hate to say too bad, but were
Yeah.
it not Ozzy Osbourne who had passed away, if it were, I don't know, let's say Alice
Yeah.
Cooper, there could be some
Yeah.
schools out for summer theme. But what's the deal with, is this unusual or weird, or is this normal for Congress to up and leave at this point?
There was, love the Alice Cooper reference. Feed their Frankenstein of a bill.
They
It's,
did that song in Wayne's World.
yes, sir. Legendary. Foundational moments. I think that, for Congress, they were going to go on an August recess. I mean, that was the plan. Of course, it's not August, it's July. Maybe it's the humidity. Maybe it's the Epstein. Maybe it's Thomas Massey having friends again as he continues to push this. It's really remarkable. I have to tell you, Wildman Massey, as opposed to, this is real, it's really tragic. His wife died. And so he's, that's very sad. Prior Tom Massey, who was always a maverick, when his wife was still alive, clean shaven, has glasses on. Now he looks like he, came out of some cavern in Kentucky, carrying a mission statement saying release the Epstein Files, and it seems to be working for him. Not so much for Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson really is struggling to hold everybody together. So kind of that slapdash, like let's go home. It puts out the fire in the moment, but what happens when they face their constituents?
That's right. We have seen things metastasize during these recesses. Like I'm thinking of the town halls during
Hmm.
Obamacare, where and there have been times where Democrats and Republicans have both had this happen, where you think you're getting out of Washington, you think you're escaping the heat, but you're jumping out of the frying pan into the oven or whatever. So I don't know though. I mean, do you think their constituents, like I wonder how much this is like an elite influencer MAGA thing versus
Yeah.
a grassroots thing? I guess it depends how pervasive, let's say, the QAnon conspiracy is.
I think, okay, I mean, very anecdotal. What are the barometers for this? Number one, book sales of Julie K. Brown's book, built on her incredible reporting. And for folks, if you haven't already, I mean, Julie K. Brown is the reporter, longtime Miami
Not
Herald.
not to be confused with Downtown Julie Brown from
No,
MTV. I made that mistake. Do not buy her book.
that shows up in the mail. You're like, wow, I didn't realize there was a book in that. Julie K. Brown, I think she's still on Twitter. I think it's like JK Brown Journo, something like that. Well, anyway, I mean, find her thing because she did all the amazing reporting on this, which I mean, really resurrected this after Alex Costa, the DA down in Florida, tossed or went with a plea deal for Epstein, and I mean, almost single handedly brought this back. And I think that for, if you look at what's happening with Epstein and with the book sales, with the number of views on that 2020 Epstein documentary on Netflix, it's in the culture, it's in pop culture, and
Yeah.
that's a very big deal,
And
right?
this
I
has been
mean,
3 weeks, dude. I mean,
yeah,
I can't remember any sort of scandal hurting Trump, even
yeah,
the Access Hollywood scandal, which
yes,
really should have done him in. See, the
right,
problem is there was a debate like 2 days after the scandal broke,
right.
and Trump survived that debate. And I think once he survived that debate, that really tamped down on the scandal. But this has been going on for like we're on like week 3 now, and it's
Well,
still
we
there.
talked about this before, right? I mean, I think that you made this excellent point that it pulls together so many themes of what it means to be a Trump supporter. And I would note too that, being a Trump supporter in this modern political environment is in many ways separate and distinct from being a Republican voter. There are a lot of people who don't, what's their pronoun? It's Trump supporter. All right,
Yeah.
it's not an R after their
Well,
name.
yeah, the deliverable that they're looking for wasn't tax cuts. It
Yeah.
was release the Epstein files. Like, that's
Yes.
the reason they voted for Trump. And if
Yeah.
he's not going to give them, he's gas, so the Ukraine war didn't end on day one.
Right. Yeah.
Also, he didn't end the forever wars. At least not if you think that bombing Iran constitutes going to war. He didn't bring prices down on day one,
No.
grocery prices down. And
The
now
opposite.
he didn't deliver. The biggest thing that they wanted was the Epstein files, and he has not delivered
Yeah.
on that, right?
If you look at,
Possibly because he's in
yeah.
them. Now, look, I don't even think there is a client list,
Yeah.
but there are files that we know he found out. This was recently reported in the Wall Street Journal that he found out that he's in the files.
Right.
And then, of course, after he found that out, the White House and the administration announced that they were not going to be releasing them.
The most consequential thing Attorney General Pam Bondi may have done for her country was, according to this reporting, telling Donald Trump that his name is all over the files. I mean, that could prove to be a historic turning point in things.
Well, let me ask you this, Tom, because I think this is and I'm writing about this today for The Hill. I think something very significant happened, and it's tied to the civil war over the Epstein. But I think that Donald Trump, for the first time, is now viewed as a lame duck.
Yes.
And,
yes.
But he's been a lame duck unless
Yes.
you believe there's a way he's going to run or stay on, unconstitutionally.
Correct.
He's been a lame duck the whole time, but this to me felt like the tipping point where for the first time,
yeah,
and I've seen this happen before with other presidents where at a certain point, they're still president, but everyone's sort of looking down the road and jockeying for position of what's it going to be like when the old man's gone. And it felt like this was the moment when for the first time people started thinking of life post-Trump and their position in it.
This is the are we allowed to curse on here? Are we terrestrial? This reminds me of the classic Wire scene where Tommy Carcetti is meeting with the Tommy D'Alessandro character. All right, at the diner in Baltimore.
Pelosi's father? Is that who you're talking about?
I think it was Big Tommy, so it would have been her father. Her brother was Little Tommy.
Is it based on her family?
Yeah, it's based on her family. Yeah, technically, as their legal team would regularly note, everything is a composite in character. And he tells them the story of the shit sandwiches, and he says, "Look, you're the mayor now. Everything you do is going to be somebody walking in with a silver platter. They're going to pull off the top, and there's a shit sandwich, and you're going to eat it. All right, that is what a lame duck presidency is. All right." The only upside here is extorting law firms and multi-billion-dollar media mergers for money in support of legacy, millions of dollars. That really seems to be the only upside here. But whether it's some of these white shoe firms that agreed to pay the ransoms to Trump for CBS and now in Skydance, the family of Larry Ellison, the mega massive Republican donor, who will now be doing mandatory $20 million in public service announcements about what Trump cares about. So I guess it's not a PSA, it's a TSA, Trump service announcement. But I think you're right, because, and I would note too, let's not forget the gravity of this second Trump term and everything that we've been through in 6 months. We were 6 months into it now. I mean, it was not that long ago that we had the extraordinary rendition of people inside the United States who had committed no crime other than traveling here undocumented. All right, I'm thinking of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, for instance, who were sent in violation of a court order to the South American gulag, it seems, the CICOT in El Salvador. And if you look at the conditions he was living in there, no windows, no light, no air, minimal food, minimal water. I mean, that is, it's a seemingly a contravention of global humane laws. So that was not that long ago. And some of that is still going on. All right. And so that is stunning. That has the feel of an autocracy. And if that is what this is, then there's no such thing as a lame duck. But, and this is kind of the historic caveat of this Trump term, and to the extent anything is normal, the normalcy of this is you have the administration now actually following court orders for once. All right. Playing to the courts. In some ways, it's a big deal. People can, fight each other over what was in the quote, one big, beautiful bill. But that was a piece of legislation that was passed through a normal legislative process and signed into law.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a mandate delivered by a king. It followed constitutional order. So all these things are normal things, which is a very long way of getting back to lame duck. That's what we have.
He's normal. It normalized him. We went from a guy who seemed to be omnipotent to very quickly. It's like in Rocky IV. The first time Drago's cut. Remember, he's cut. The Russians cut. And it's a bad cut. Nobody had done that before. So once Rocky draws blood, and then I think it was Apollo, Apollo's dead at this point. Duke is in the corner saying, he's human. He's not a machine. He's human. right? So like blood has been drawn and there's blood in the water. And then the sharks start circling. Sometimes the shark's on your own team, right? And I think that's kind of what has happened. And so this is very dangerous for Trump. Now, I think it's possible that he gets his mojo back. But the other thing that complicates that for him is he's old, and we're starting to see signs of the makeup on the hands and the ankles swollen, and apparently he has some chronic illness. So he's not only battling against, the constitutional norms of America, and he's not only battling against his rivals, the internecine rivals, I think are the most dangerous, but he's also battling against Father Time. And as Mitch McConnell has said, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't forget, and I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I saw that clip of a couple days ago of Senator John Kennedy, not of the famous Kennedys, the Louisiana senator phasing out on live TV. It's just like the wind up in the back of the robot just stopped, and Larry Kudlow cut away from it, and it recalls, you said, Mitch McConnell, when he would just stop. He would just
like they're talking 1 minute and they just freeze up.
And Trump has had a few of those as president that I've caught. Now I don't watch every Trump event these days, and I certainly don't watch all of the White House press briefings because I pursue things that are accurate. Try not to. You could spend a lifetime fact checking.
I can't watch the press briefings. I don't either. It's a waste of time.
And as Mike Miller, the old Maryland Senate president, used to say, he said, "The juice ain't worth the squeeze."
The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Thomas V. Mike Miller.
Yes.
Legendary in Maryland. So let me ask you this, Thomas V. LoBianco. Look, well, let me start with this. So I think there are three people that I would rank as being the heir apparents to MAGA. But if we've learned anything, what we've learned is we don't know anything. But let's see if we have the same three. Who do you think that, if you had to pick the three people most likely to succeed Donald Trump as the standard bearer in the Republican Party, who would you pick?
Tucker Carlson.
He's on my list.
Vance, definitely, just by state
I think
position.
Vance is number one, I think.
Yeah.
Right? He has to be.
I'm going to go with a wild card. Somebody who maybe is a little bit ascendant. I could see a John James out of Michigan, something fresh.
Who's John James? Who's John James?
Isn't he the one that the congressman, or who's the one that ran for Senate out of Michigan?
You've caught me. You've caught me flat-footed.
Now I have to Google.
Google.
Are we allowed to Google
John James, Michigan? There is a John James. So he's an African American, it looks like here, right? Congressman?
Yeah, I believe military.
Congressman John James.
Yeah, so he ran for Senate. So I think, and I'm just going to use him as a placeholder.
This is like the time
here.
I discovered there was somebody named Mike Johnson, in Congress.
It's like
You
Mo,
make me
like
feel like
Mo.
Theo Vaughn. That's the key. When you're like, hey man, I'm just a comedian. You're not expected to know who these people are. But when you're allegedly a political commentator, people think it's weird you don't know. But how do you? There's 435 House members and 100
Yeah,
senators and God knows how many. Well, we know there's 50 governors and attorney generals and secretaries
yeah.
of state, a lieutenant governor. There's a lot. There's a lot of people. There's a
Well,
lot of people out
and it
there
would be easy to dismiss. You know, it's
and
like if I told you this,
podcasters.
yeah, you know, Rob Roberts and Ed Edwards and Jimmy James
Well, once
and
upon a
John
time, you didn't
Johnson.
have to know everybody, but now
Yeah,
anybody. But here's mine. It's Donald Trump Jr. That's my third.
yeah, I'm with you.
So I got
Yeah,
Tucker. Well, I've
although,
got JD
yeah,
Vance number one, Tucker number two, Don Jr. number three. But here's the
Jude,
thing.
yeah,
Here's the thing. It's what I'm leading up to.
hmm,
I don't think any of them can hold the coalition together that Donald J.
right,
Trump, that the Donald put together in 2024.
right.
What do you think?
No, I think that's right. And also, too, I would do it if you know if Junior does it, that splits apart JD Vance because Vance is really synonymous with Junior. They have the same coalition. I think the only leg up that Vance has is that he's a Thiel person. So Thiel is has a little bit more power.
You're talking, say, Peter
Teal,
Thiel.
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah,
Okay.
Teal.
I thought you
I
said
can
he's a
never
field person or a field
Thiel.
person.
Teal, I can't.
I think it's
I
pronounced Teal, but it's spelled Thiel.
I can't. It's been a decade of this
But
crap.
who
I
knows?
still
It's
can't
like
figure it out.
someday we'll find out we're all saying it wrong. It's Demi. It's not Demi. It's Demi. And then it'll be like, oh, I've been saying it wrong all
It's like
these
this.
years.
That show, Bob. It's like no, Your Honor. It says the Bart the.
All right. Well, there's someone else that sometimes gets mentioned on the list, and that person is Candace Owens.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I think she's a long shot, but
Yeah.
have you seen it? She is being apparently sued by
Yeah.
Emmanuel Macron and his wife. I think her name's Bridget or Brigitte. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Candace Owens
Yeah.
claims that Macron's wife is actually a man.
Yeah.
Could this could our news world be any more insane than this?
She's got the Austin Powers lane in 28.
Yeah, she's got the Austin Powers vote, locked down. I think you know who did it before Austin Powers was Crocodile Dundee. You remember that?
No.
Yeah. He well, first he discovers that there was I guess back then it would have been a transvestite
Mm-hmm.
that was hitting on him at a bar. And then later it turns out it was actually just a kind of masculine woman that anyway. I'm old school, man.
Dude,
I go back to
that's
the 80s.
legendary. See,
It's not even the 90s.
I thought you were going to talk about Ace Ventura. Laces out. I mean, I think that there's a broader problem here for people like Candace Owens. I mean, her shtick is really the same is really Trump's shtick, which is finding ways to outrage to stay in the news. So, how many other French presidents are out there where you can draw a lawsuit, and what is the shelf life? What is the media shelf life of that? Because as we know, and we just said this a second ago, what's so remarkable about the Epstein story is that it has legs. Like it is still being talked about, still being dissected.
And
Owen's
his attempts
problem,
to distract didn't work. I'm going to get to some of those in a second. They didn't
yeah,
work. But then
yeah,
there's more shoes that are dropping that are
mm-hmm,
feeding the fire, fanning the
yeah,
flames. It's never happened before with Trump. He's always been
yeah,
able to let's deport Rosie O'Donnell, and everyone chases that.
right, yes. And I think that's the problem that Owens has. I mean, Owens made a name for herself quoting Hitler or whatever the hell it was a couple of years ago, refusing to apologize for it. But, look, we've got Kanye West making Hail Hitler songs on Twitter, and that was before Twitter did Mecha Hitler. All right. And nobody remembers that this week. All right. So, I mean, that is the bar. The bar is this high. I mean, maybe she would have to reveal that she's a man. And maybe that would last for 48 hours. but 2028 is 3.5 years away. So I don't know. I just don't think the difference between her and she does have a very top, she does have a podcast. She's tried to moderate herself, but I don't think you can moderate by calling women men.
Well, she's obviously, attractive and eloquent and can present as normal, but says batshit crazy things. And
oh
you know
yeah,
how there are these, people out there now clipping. I saw a video of her the other day where literally it was just a compilation, like a 5-minute compilation of her saying something and then contradicting exactly what she said back to back to back. And it was like, she's contradicted herself on everything constantly. And she's
she's
like
like
a
a
video where she'd be like, now, one thing I would never do is I would never tell you this. And then there's the next video is her telling you that exact same thing. So really no
it's
credibility.
like Sigourney Weaver at Ghostbusters. There is no Dana, only Zool. It's like, wow, that took a turn.
Well, as I mentioned, Donald Trump has been, trying to change the subject. And some of it's serious stuff, right? Like Barack Obama is a traitor. Rosie O'Donnell needs to lose her citizenship. And some of it is more like in the vein of like when Trump used to complain about like that hairspray isn't good enough, anymore, right? So there's the whole Coke, cane, sugar thing. But I wanted to ask you because you're like me, you are a homeboy, just like me.
Yeah.
I grew up a Washington Redskins fan. In fact, when I was a
Hmm.
kid, the Redskins went to 4 Super Bowls and won 3. Should have won all 4, but I guess John Riggins went out drinking the night before they played the Raiders. But they were a really good team, and what's really amazing is, Joe Gibbs, the coach back then, managed to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks, which is,
Really?
oh yeah, and if you think about the
What?
model today, the key is get a quarterback. If you get Patrick
Huh?
Mahomes, if you get Tom
Yeah.
Brady, then you can go
Right.
on a run. Gibbs did it
Wow.
with 3 different quarterbacks,
No kidding.
which I think illustrates Gibbs' genius and also the team,
Yeah.
not just the quarterback, but the teamwork, the Hogs,
Yeah.
the line. So,
Wow.
as you know, they were the Redskins for many years. Hail to the Redskins was the
Yeah.
song, and then they became the Washington. Well, then Dan Snyder, the villainous owner of the Redskins, swore he
Yes.
would never change the name before he did.
Yeah.
Then they became the Washington Football Team, which I think sneakily was actually a brilliant name.
Hmm.
Then they became the Commanders, which does not
Yeah.
work. It's a bad name.
No.
But
Yes.
suddenly the team could be good again. They've got a good quarterback, and it seems like they're on the right trajectory.
Wait, who's the QB now?
Can't think of his name. Let's call him
Yeah.
John James.
Yes.
But anyway, they're looking good. Now, of course, they're in the same division with the Eagles, who are also very good, and we'll see how it shakes out. We saw what happened with RG3, which was the last time I was briefly excited about the Redskins, and
Yeah.
that didn't end
He
well.
was great, man.
He was really good there for about a year until
Yeah.
it did not end well. But anyway, long wind up to Donald Trump is now saying, so the Redskins, the Commanders, want to come back to Washington, D.C.
Right.
Where RFK Stadium used to be. Then they moved out to Landover, Maryland, or they called it Ral John briefly after Jack Kent Cook's children. Anyway, I know too much about this.
Yeah, man.
So
I'm learning a lot.
my knowledge of this is much more extensive than my knowledge of like Michigan politics, clearly. Donald Trump, I guess, I don't know if he actually has the power to stop this deal from taking place from the team coming back to Washington, but he's threatening to block it or to stop it if they don't restore their name back to Redskins. So like on one hand, Tom, and you're from Maryland, and when you were a kid, when I was a kid, there was no Raven. The Ravens didn't exist. The Colts,
we hadn't stolen them from Cincinnati or Cleveland yet.
So we grew up in a Redskins world, and it's a great legacy. But I think it's pretty clear Redskins is a problematic name.
Yes, it's derogatory.
So where do you come down on this?
I mean, you could call them the honkies. I mean, right? Like, but that's derogatory. I mean, you could go with a derogatory name.
I'll allow it.
It's
I'll
okay.
allow it.
I mean, right? Like, I mean, that is a choice. I remember back in 2000, I think it was 2009, the Washington City paper, which I think is still around, certainly not as former glory. City papers used to be amazing.
Used to be really good. Yeah.
Oh, dude, just incredible reporting. And they did a cover on how evil Dan Snyder was. And to prove his evil, they drew horns and a devil's tail on a picture of him. And he sued, saying that it was derogatory. I think they sued for, or he sued for defamation, libel, and he said it was anti-Semitic. And I'm like, your friggin' football team is called the Redskins. Like, my man.
Do you know what they should have called it though? And I joke about the Washington Reagans, but what they should have called
Or the Washington Melania Trumps.
it could happen. Look at the Kennedy Center.
Slip it in the bill.
Motion passes 405. No, what it should have been is the Hogs, Hogs.
Okay.
The Washington Hogs, and you get a badass looking boar with with the
I'm
horn
with you.
on the nose.
Yeah, dude.
And there's
that's
a little
pretty slick.
there's a feather attached to its ear. It's burgundy and
Yeah.
gold. And that way you keep a name that pays homage to the legendary
Yes.
Redskin line.
Yes.
And there's a hint of the feather, but you get rid of the name. And it's the Washington Hogs. And I don't for the life of me understand why they
I'm
didn't
with you,
do
man.
Because I think it would have solved their problems.
It kind of reminds me a lot like of college football, which I think would work nicely in its favor.
Like the Razorbacks or
yeah, I don't
similar
know.
to that, right?
Got some weird names in football. Chargers, Raiders, pretty good. That's all right. That's not too bad.
Great uniforms though. The Raiders have amazing uniforms. The silver and black.
Lions, Eagles, Ravens, Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. I don't know why we keep on getting them weird birds, but well, I know we've got the Ravens.
Did you see Stephen A. Smith's idea? He wants there to be one stadium in Maryland that the Commanders and Ravens share. No joke. Because he thinks he doesn't get just the immense cultural difference, despite the geographic proximity to Maryland.
Yeah.
He apparently doesn't grasp that, like, Baltimore
maybe he's never been here.
and
that's
DC
okay.
are two very distinct places.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I mean, maybe he can. I don't know. We'll stick Candace Owens on him and see what happens.
I thought he had a chance at president before he said that.
Yes,
but that's the dumbest thing I think I've heard anyone say.
It's like, no. I mean, my God, that's like it's like trying to smash New York and Philadelphia together by saying it's connected via New Jersey. It's like, no, it's not.
Put the stadiums in New Jersey, and the Eagles and the Giants just share the stadium. Problem solved.
I mean, what's funny about it is that again, it was another attempt to distract from the scandal of the moment, the Epstein scandal.
Yeah. I think this goes all the way to the top. I think Stephen Smith's involved in the cover-up. So is Candace.
Yes. Has anybody been to Epstein Island recently? Do we have like logs? All right. What happened to the Lolita Express, the 727? All right. Where's it? I don't know. All right. Maybe it's in the middle of a football stadium somewhere in Laurel or Bowie, Maryland, dead center between the two. All right. Maybe that's the Illuminati plan.
It could be. I mean, wasn't there a rumor that who's the old labor union guy that was famously killed like in the 60s?
Hoffa?
Jimmy Hoffa was allegedly buried under the Giants stadium. I'm not joking. I don't know if it was dispelled.
That's brilliant.
But there was a story that Jimmy Hoffa was apparently buried under the Giants stadium.
85-year-old Geraldo Rivera goes down with the exclusive, cracks open the vault. It's just a dead body. It's like, in all seriousness, God knows there's nothing serious about any of this crap. It does go to Trump's quote unquote negotiating style, which is, it has signs of advanced dementia, frankly. It's like, okay, if you get rid of Black Lives Matter Plaza, the name, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and you pay for this, all right, which is what he's done with the city, all right, but he still continues to threaten the city, pushing to take away autonomy to the extent there is home rule, trying to take away home rule. Nothing is good enough. And I remember before the inauguration, there was kind of a hope among some of the DC boosters of actually having a Washington team. I mean, and this is kind of similar to the Jets playing in Jersey. All right. Are they really the New York Jets? I'm with that. All right. But the intentional pun, the goalposts keep moving. And are really incumbent on how much he's in trouble politically. So I
Well, I
like,
for one hope they go back to Washington D.C. Call it RFK. I don't care. RFK Jr. Stadium, fine, whatever.
sure, right.
But it should be in the nation's capital. It sure should not be. It sure as heck should not be in wherever it is, which is impossible to get to. I've had people
Yeah.
over the years. I mean, it doesn't happen much anymore, but when I lived in the air, closer to DC, I would have people who'd be like offering me like, "Hey, you want to? I've got tickets to Monday Night Football," and they think they're doing me a favor. You think I want to go out to like Landover, Maryland? Like, you can't drive there. It costs $1 million to park. You can metro and walk a mile. You're going to pay $25 for a beer, and the game starts at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
That's not
man.
doing me a favor.
No, it's not.
So
I mean, the RFK Stadium is a great location. And
yeah.
it's a beautiful spot out there. I mean, you could really do
Well,
some.
see, that's when the Redskins were a great team
Yeah,
and going to those Super Bowls. That stadium would literally like be rocking. I
yeah.
mean, and you used to have to like to get tickets. There was like a 20-year wait list.
Oh,
It was
nice. Wow,
unbelievable. And
man.
now Dan Snyder just, everything that guy's done.
Snydered it.
So anyway, he may be a
You can
bigger
call them the
villain than
Washington
Trump.
Dan Snyders. That would terrify people. Maybe the wrong people.
It's the most intimidating. Yeah. All right, my friend. We've talked enough about the Redskins or Commanders or the football team.
The Hogs. I
Final
like the Hogs,
thoughts.
man. That's a
The
good one.
Hogs is the name. Final thoughts,
Dude,
Tom LoBianco. What are you watching this week?
I'm watching what is going to start happening with the members of Congress at home. I mean, look, we've got one more month left of summer. The midterms really start in earnest in about a month, right after Labor Day, when everybody kind of starts coming back from vacation, actually has read the one big beautiful bill, understanding what they're dealing with. Oh, and you're starting to see a lot shaping up. We've been reporting on this over at 24 Site News. If you guys don't follow us already, that's my inkjet printed sign over there. I also do branding for Washington football teams. Call me up. 24sight.news on the Substack and everywhere else. Even Twitter, despite Mecha Hitler. And Julie Grace Bruffke and I have been looking at this. I mean, you're starting to see a lot of shuffling in the Senate. Joni Ernst was shocking. I mean, she's young
She's
by
not
Senate
running for
standards.
re-election.
Yeah,
Correct.
so she's stepping away. You got to watch some of these races. I saw the Democrats just picked up Roy Cooper down in North Carolina. That's going to be an interesting one versus Michael Whatley. Not Lar Trump. Again, not Lar Trump.
Open seat because what's his name's
Yeah.
Tom Tillis is retiring.
Yeah.
So
So I think, I don't know that anything is in play right now. Texas is going to be bonkers. Who's that guy, James Tallarico?
yeah, I
He
heard
was
I
on
heard him
the,
on Joe Rogan's podcast this week.
yeah, really fascinating. Hey, we might have even talked about this before. I was saying a few months ago to folks who were asking me, in kind of the throes of the Trump autocracy push back in like February and March when they were eliminating federal agencies in contravention of the law, people were asking me, well, who's going to be the Democrat? Like, who is it going to be? I don't like Chuck Schumer. I don't like Hakeem Jeffries. And I was saying, we don't know yet. We haven't seen them yet. Now I think we're starting to see them. Zohran Mamdani, Tallarico, very different views on what works, but fresh.
We're starting to see a new crop that
Yes.
is a post-Trump. So they get
Yes.
it's a new generation, but it's also they get today's politics in a way that like Chuck Schumer's never gonna get, or even Hakeem Jeffries, frankly. So I think you're right. I think the future are people that we're just now starting to see,
Yes.
and then you may have like an AOC who is bridges the gap and is the connective tissue. Um,
Yeah.
Before I let you go, favorite Ozzy Osbourne song or thoughts about Ozzy?
Oh man. Sad, dude. That one, I don't know why that hit me more than some of the other big losses recently, but just really, I saw them on their reunion tour, and this is,
Sabbath?
yeah, well, I mean,
Sabbath?
pick a reunion tour, 1999, incredible, Meriwether Post Pavilion back in '99, and awesome. I had that T-shirt for like 20 years until the sleeves fell off, and I love Sabbath. Love Ozzy. When I'm sitting down and writing, I crank Diary of a Madman. That
Yeah.
is right. I mean, you pick any of those. I think that's still Randy Rhoads. I think Rhoads lasted the first two or three. I can't
It's
remember when he
Blizzard of
died.
Oz, Diary
Yeah.
of a Madman. My favorite album is actually Zach Wild, which is No Rest for the Wicked. I believe
Really?
that's my favorite. Yeah, I think that's
No
the best
shit.
Ozzy. That's my
Wow. Oh,
yeah.
dude, wait, dude. That's a power pull, man. You're going with like a glam hair rock, Ozzy.
That's like 80s probably, right?
Yeah, that's mid
Yeah.
80s. What is that, like 87, 88? It was
I
right
like
before. Was
Ozzy's
that the
look
last?
when he had sort of like blonde hair. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little shorter. That's my peak. That's peak Ozzy, I think, for me. But
If
you
you're
know,
gonna
everyone's got their
rename,
own. Some people like the Ozzy or reality show. That
yes.
brand of Ozzy. Sharon. You know, to each his own.
If you are going to rename the Opera House at the Kennedy Center, it needs to be named after Ozzy Osbourne. And that's the only acceptable.
All right.
Seriously.
And on that, we shall end it. Tom LoBianco, my friend. Always a pleasure talking. Thanks for coming
Thanks,
on.
brother. Always, man.